All right, we got to talk about all of this with our TSN golf analyst, Bob Weeks. And Bob, Tiger clearly not happy with what Montgomerie had to say. Now, it should be noted, Montgomerie since said he was taken out of context. But regardless, are you surprised, Bob, by Tiger's response?
No, not at all. I think Tiger really feels that he is still possible. It is still possible for him to contend, maybe not win, but he feels that he can be competitive. He does say in every press conference, he said this in every press conference I've ever been in with him, that yes, he's here to win. His body is a little bit more broken down. You know, he's 48 years old. He's got all sorts of clamps and bolts and things holding him together. He did say that this week that he feels a little bit more fit. He does feel a little bit better towards being able to play, but he's not capable of playing with the likes of Bryson DeChambeau and Scottie Scheffler and all those guys, I don't feel. I think that he's got a good game, but it would take a small miracle. Now, if there is a place where he could win, it might be at the Open Championship. We've seen Tom Watson almost pull off a miracle a few years ago, and you don't have to be a long bomber here. You just have to be pretty smart to get it around on a course like Royal Troon.
And if he does start the Open Championship this weekend, and we assume he will, it would be the first time he's played all four majors since 2019. Bob, in your mind, what is a successful weekend for Tiger at this point? How do you see this playing out?
Well, I think to play on the weekend would be a huge step for him. He's played 9 competitive rounds this year. The one cut he made was at the Masters, and he finished dead last of those who made the cut. His worst performance as a professional. You can't play up with these guys that you're playing against now, only playing 9 rounds a year. You have to play more golf. He's talked about maybe doing that in 2025. His body right now just won't let him play. He's sort of testing it and trying to get back. But I think if he played on the weekend, I mean, I think he would love it, and I think the crowd would love it. The television audiences would love it. You know, when we go to the U.S. Open and the Masters earlier this year, biggest crowds are still Tiger Woods. He is still a big name, and I think that would be an achievement for him to play all 4 rounds.
And speaking of Tiger, he actually sent a message to Rory McIlroy after his collapse at the U.S. Open. But Rory did not get back to Tiger. Take a listen to the reason.
Full disclosure, I changed my number 2 days after the U.S. Open, so I didn't get it until he told me about it today. So I was like, oh, thanks very much. So I blanked Tiger Woods, which was probably not a great thing. From the time I left Pinehurst to the time I walked through my front door on Sunday night, I probably got about 10 or 15 text messages from media members. And I was like, it's probably time to get a new number.
McIlroy, of course, lost to Bryson DeChambeau, who claimed his 2nd U.S. Open trophy. Caught on camera was a dejected McIlroy leaving the course, skipping out on post-round media and congratulating Bryson, but the two caught up on the course on Monday.
I said hello to him yesterday, and we talked, and he said congrats, so everything's great there, and he's a fierce competitor. I know he's going to give the fans, give everybody as much as he can this week, and I'm going to be doing the same. We're going to be competing, and hopefully it'll be another good battle.
All right, so Rory finished top 5 at the Scottish Open last weekend after winning it last year, as we know. Bob, do you give him any chance to finally end that major drought this weekend at Royal Troon?
Oh, yeah, I think he's got a great chance. I mean, everyone's looking at those 2 putts that he missed at the final couple of holes at the U.S. Open. But they kind of forget that he finished 2nd. He's obviously playing some really good golf. He finished tied for 4th at the Scottish Open last week. I mean, he's playing really, really good golf. And I think he can kind of dine out a little bit more on a course such as Royal Troon that's got these slow greens. They're expecting some pretty good winds, so they've kept the greens fairly long to keep the balls from rolling off or being blown off the greens. He can be a little bit more aggressive with his putter. He was tentative, obviously, as some of those ones that were you know, the 2-footer from above the hole that broke 3 feet. It seemed like on that last one on 18. But I think things are sort of working in his favor. It took him a while after the U.S. Open collapse to kind of set the record straight and said, look, I'm doing things really well.
4 Canadians in the field this week, Bob. Corey Connors, Adam Hadwin, Mac Hughes, and Mr. Nick Taylor. Of the 4, who do you think has the best chance to compete at the Open this weekend?
You know, none of these guys have a real deep history of playing on links courses. Corey and Adam are playing their 5th Open championships. The other guys are at 2 and 1. so far coming in here. So it's not like they have a lot of experience. But I would say Corey Conners is the guy who's playing the best golf right now. He's also not bad for a links-style setup. He hits a lot of fairways. We know that. He hits a lot of greens. If his putter warms up just a little bit, he could be good. And again, as I was saying about Rory, where the putter is a little bit, you have to hit these putts a little bit more. You can't be delicate with them, and that helps a guy, I think, like Corey Conners. The other guy that I really want to see play well is Nick Taylor. He has not played well since he won in the Phoenix Open. In fact, he missed the cut in the first 3 majors. He's got to get his game in gear. He's going to be representing Canada at the Olympics in a couple of weeks, and he's slipping down that list for the President's Cup choices too. So he's got a lot on his plate right now.
You also have a lot on your plate, Bob, because you're a massive part of our coverage of the Open Championship on TSN this weekend. So thanks for taking a little time for us, Bob, and enjoy the coverage this weekend. We really appreciate it.